Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Andri. Today's discussion is how I got my Greek Cypriot citizenship and then went on to apply for my ID. So this video came along because I recently showed on my vlogs that I applied for my Greek Cypriot citizenship and my ID, and I was asked to share the process. So here I am sharing the process. I will get straight into it because I know if you've clicked onto this video you want to know exactly how the process went and you don't want to know anything else. Okay, so my parents are a Greek Cypriot. They were both born in Cyprus. They left Cyprus and built up a business in London and lived in London for most of their life until they retired, and then they moved back to Cyprus. I was born in London. Now the process I'm going to share with you today is different if you were born pre-1960 because Cyprus was still under British occupation pre-1960. So I was born in 1965. So this is how the process went for me, and this is how the process will go for you if your parents are Greek Cypriot and you were born in London and you were born after 1960. So buckle in, subscribe if you would like, ding-a-ling the bell if you subscribe, and if you found this video helpful, it's a thumbs up because that costs absolutely nothing. In fact, none of the above costs absolutely anything. Anyway, let's get straight into the video. So first of all, you need either your parents' birth certificates or your parents' death certificates, and you need their marriage certificate as well if applicable. And the reason you need their death certificate or their birth certificate is because their ID numbers are on these certificates. Now when I say death certificate, this is a death certificate if you got it from Cyprus. So my mum died in Scotland, but we took her back to Cyprus to have her buried. Therefore, I have a Cypriot death certificate, and my dad died in Cyprus, so I have a Greek death certificate for my dad as well. You either need one or the other, you don't need them both. So I got all the work done using my parents' death certificates, or if you have their ID number, that will be very helpful as well, because that's all that they're really looking for is their ID number. And you also need your own birth certificate. Now all these certificates must be certified. That means you cannot take your birth certificate from your drawer and photocopy it. You need to have it certified. And how you get your certified birth certificate is basically look at your birth certificate that you have in the house. It will tell you the borough that you were born in, if you don't know, and then you apply to that borough to have a certified birth certificate. So once you've gathered all your certified certificates, you then need to send them off and have an apostille stamp put on them, which is basically an internationally recognised certificate used to authenticate public documents. I think that's right. So all your certificates have an apostille stamp. Each one of these stamps, so each document, each certificate will cost roughly £30. So it's an expensive process. So you send them off, that depends. I think mine took about 6 weeks to come back. Then armed with all of that, so all your certificates now have the apostille stamp, you go to one of my favourite places in Cyprus, not Civil Registry and Migration Department. Now, a word of warning, be prepared for attitude. Be prepared for some attitude from the people that work in this place. That was my experience, people. Every time I went there, that was my experience. Okay, let's move on from that episode, shall we? Let's move on. I need a glass of wine. Just the sheer reminder of their attitude, of one particular person I should say, in migration. Cheers baby! So once you hand all this documentation, all the certificates to the lovely people at migration, they then give you a form. You need to fill out that form they do their end of whatever they do on their computer. You are then sent to the district court where you buy stamps, where they stamp the stamps, where you sign in front of them, they stamp the stamps and they put them on the documentation that you have been given from migration. You then go back to migration with the stamps that you have got. You give them to migration, to the wonderful people in migration who do such an amazing job with a stinking attitude. And they then do whatever they need to do, and they issue you your new Greek Cypriot birth certificate, and you are now officially a Greek Cypriot citizen, which means you can now apply for your ID card or your passport, or both. The choice is yours. So then what happens is, armed with your new Greek Cypriot birth certificate, which has your ID number, which is what you're really needing, you go off to the advice bureau. Make an appointment, people, because I had a bit of a problem because I didn't make an appointment. So you make an appointment. So just look up advice bureau wherever you are. If you're in Belfast, if you're in Nicosia, all my dealings were in Nicosia. So the people I refer to are the people in Nicosia. Okay, so you go to the advice bureau, make an appointment, and when you arrive at the advice bureau, you're going to have your height taken, fingerprints taken, and photographs taken, and they go through the process. You get another form to fill out. You fill all of that out. Our particular form was in Greek. We didn't ask for an English one, but we got through it. And we filled it out in English, but everything they were asking was in Greek. It was basically very similar to the form that we had filled out at migration. So then you sit, you pay, and your application goes through. You pay at migration as well. I didn't say that, but when you go back after the courts and you go back to migration and they issue you your birth certificate, you pay again. And the stamps you pay for as well. The stamps were like £9 a stamp, something like that. I can't remember. It wasn't very much. And the issuing of the birth certificate wasn't very much either. It all mounts up, people, but it's not very much. Anyway, so back at the advice bureau, they do all the bits and pieces after you fill out the form, and that's how I applied for my ID, and I'm still waiting for my ID. So when you apply for your ID, basically you have the choice to go and pick it up. I wasn't there, and I didn't want to ask anybody else to go and pick it up for me, so I chose to have it sent to me. So mine is being sent to the consulate of Cyprus in Scotland, and they said to me I should expect that in September. Filming this right now, it is August. I applied for it in July, so I'm still waiting for it. So that's the process of how I applied and got my citizenship in Cyprus. It sounds very complicated, but it isn't. I had the help of my cousin who had applied for it a few months before me, so she was advising me on the process, and I think it always helps to have that help as well. So I am here helping you if you wish to apply for your citizenship or your ID. Now that I have applied for mine and got my citizenship and receiving my ID, now my boys are entitled to apply for it as well through me, because I am now a Greek Cypriot citizen. Rico is also gonna apply for his. Again, he was born pre-1960, so his is a different process, and once he goes through that process, I'll share that with you as well. I think it's slightly easier actually for Rico, but he just needs to get hold of his parents' birth certificates and death certificates, which he can do in Cyprus. Basically needs his parents' birth certificates, and he needs his parents' marriage certificate as well. So Thank you very much for watching. If you have found this video helpful, remember a thumbs up helps me as I'm helping you. And if you would like to see any more videos from me, I always link one here, and if you're not already subscribed, I'm giving you another chance. It's the A right here, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao! Yasu! Bye! Kalin here.